Man has had to make his living in some of the most remote places in the world. Sometimes the marshes of Mexico, the thick jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, and even in the clouds of the Andes Mountains. Today, we'll discuss how people 1,000 years adapted to the different climates. Before we get started, I'd like to help you remember who these cultures were and where they're located in the world. As you can see on the map, I've placed the Aztecs in Mexico, in the area we call the Valley of Mexico. The Mayans stretched from Guatemala to southern Mexico in the Yucatan Peninsula. The Inca in the Andes Mountains in South America. I've created a little acronym to help you remember. AMY. Aztec, Maya, Inca. AMY. The M is in the middle. Let's start with the Maya. Here in southern Mexico and Guatemala, we have some of the thickest jungle in the world. Tropical rainforests raining over 90 to 100 inches of rain a year. The soil is porous limestone, and so most of the water sinks right into the ground and is lost forever. And it's tough, it's hard, it does not wear away quickly. So how do these people adapt to such a difficult situation? Hot, humid environment, rainfall only comes half the year, very little surface water. Well, one of the ways with dealing with a harsh environment is to build pools and channels to control the water, control the runoff. Limestone is not the most hospitable planting soil, and jungles are really hard to cut down. To help the soil to be a little more fertile and to clear the forests, a practice of slash and burn was used by the Mayans. They even terraced the sides of their mountains to give them more surface land in which to grow on. This enabled them to grow corn, chilies, and yes, chocolate. The Mayans, by using slash and burn techniques, terracing, and irrigation networks, were able to make a civilization of millions of people right there in the middle of the jungle. Let's jump down to South America. The Inca population lived along and on top of the Andes Mountains, and also extended their control into the jungles to the east and to the coastal land of the west. 2,500 miles of landscape with deserts and jungles and mountains. The logistics seem almost impossible. The Andes Mountains are the second highest mountain range in the world. Jungles like the Amazon River Basin, and the driest spot on the entire planet, the Atacama Desert. Yet, the Inca were able to survive and flourish to create a population of up to 11 million people. How did they do it? Well, they had two major obstacles. One, how do you manage and protect this large empire of various climate and altitude zones? And then once you control it, how do you feed those people? The first thing you've got to do is you've got to organize your society. You've got to let people know where they belong. And in the Inca society, the king was a living god. Below him, he had nobility working for him, organizing society. Below them, the peasant society toiled day and night. These people fished, farmed, and moved food up and down the Andes Mountains. Of course, if you're going to move food around this large empire, you're going to need to build roads, and that's what they did. They organized their society, and then they made their society connected through thousands of miles of roads. And when they came to a cliff, they built bridges. Bridges out of the materials that they had. Grass. Bridges made of grass. And to protect this vast empire, cities will be planted high in the mountains, in the clouds, where they'll be safe from attack. The Incas had 11 million mouths to feed every day. Now that we've organized society, we're able to protect it, we're mobile, let's get them eating. And so the peasant population was organized into groups of 10. Families were told what to grow, and everybody was responsible. They embarked on creating more surface area to grow their food on, high in the mountains and low in the valleys and in the jungles. An ingenious system of irrigation was created, where water was used to cool down the daytime temperatures, yet retain the heat to keep freezing away and helping the plants survive at night. And this enabled them to grow potatoes, quinoa, and corn. Now let's take a look at Mexico. In the area that today is Mexico City, the Aztecs really weren't from that area. They had migrated in, and they have moved into an area where the land really wasn't that good. As Johnny-come-latelys, they were forced to make the best of this situation. As more powerful societies around them forced them to make their homes in the only place available, the marsh of Lake Texcoco. So how did you do it? How do you turn a swamp into paradise? By building chinampas. What is a chinampa? But a man-made island. Posts were pounded into the ground, deep into the marsh. Between the posts, ropes and mats were woven. Dirt and rock were piled in, and moss was laid on top of that. Using a form of compost, they were able to create man-made islands in the middle of the swamp. This ingenious system allowed them to feed their population. And as the Aztecs became even more powerful and eventually conquered a lot of their neighbors, they then, of course, used slavery and a taxation to continue to feed their growing population. Let's take a look at the other side of your journal. Here's what I would like you to do as a summary. I'd like you to create an acrostic poem that reflects what you've learned in this video. We're going to do the acrostic poem using the word climate, and I would like you to explain how the Aztecs and the Incas and the Mayans adapted to their various climates. You may use the examples that I have here in the video.